I'll talk about the importance of this khuluq, of this character, and how we can do to achieve it. First is the definition of what ithar is. So the word al-ithar or al-mu'athara in Arabic means تفضيل المرء غيره على نفسه. That when someone favors others over their own selves, this is what ithar is. Being selfless. You're actually you're more concerned about the welfare of other people, even more than your own self. This is you've achieved not just that you're helping other people. This is a given. We've talked about this before. This is a given now. You're someone who's known that you help people in the community. But we're talking about an even higher level than this. That you're so concerned about other people that you're even less concerned about your own welfare. And even this trait, you will find even in the animal kingdoms. If you just Google biology and altruism, you will see examples of animals who have altruistic behavior. For example, you see in some animals, well, the animal will do when they see a predator coming, they will cry out loud. So the other animals within the family would run away, but that animal that cried out is now signaling for that predator to come after them, essentially giving themselves away, but to save their own species, for them to save themselves. So this is an altruistic behavior. An example, an equal example to that is some people who are willing to go and fight for their own countries. They join the military and they give up themselves. Why? Because to protect their own family, to protect their own countries, to protect their own people. They're willing to give up themselves. This is an altruistic behavior. And I want you to understand what the level of altruism is, what ithar is. We're talking about, again, this is more than even zakah. Zakah, there is a percentage that you need to give out, and this is zakah. This is an obligation everyone have to do. It's a done deal. We're not talking about zakah. You're already giving zakah. And I'm not talking about people who give to others easily, because this is in Arabic. This is saha. Like you're someone who when you see a cause, you're so willing to give to it. But you have somebody. This is usually people who are rich, right? People who are philanthropists. They have so much money and they don't worry about the money. So they are giving out their wealth for causes without any worry. But this is saha. If you give more money, right, to others than what you have, like you actually give them more, like than half, then this is now you're someone who's generous. This is Jude. I am talking about even higher than being generous. I'm talking about you give so much of your wealth, you give so much of your time to the point that now you're to the point where it's affecting your own needs. This is what ithar is. And the example of this khuluq is what Al-Ansar did with Al-Muhajirun. When the Muslims at the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ were persecuted by the Meccans and they left Mecca to Medina, what the people of Al-Ansar, what people of Medina did for them, this is an example of ithar. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes this in the Quran. First, the verse talks about Al-Muhajirun, and he says, للفقراء المهاجرين الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم وأموالهم يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا وينصرون الله ورسوله أولئك هم الصادقون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about being charitable towards the muhajirun, the ones who left Mecca. He says, you shall give to the needy who emigrated. They were evicted from their homes and deprived of their properties because they sought God's grace and pleasure. And because they supported God and his messenger, they are the truthful. So this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing al-muhajirun. And then in the next ayah, now he talks about al-ansar and he says, وَالَّذِينَ تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ يُحِبُّونَ مَنْ هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِمْ. As for those who provided them with a home and a refuge, and were believers before them, they love those who emigrated to them. Right? They love those who emigrated to them. The Al-Ansar, when Al Muhajirun came from Mecca, they did not cry and talk about, wait, why are we taking all of these immigrants in? No, this is gonna affect our own economy now. Where are they gonna work? Where are they gonna live? No, they're gonna take my jobs. None of them did this. Their reaction was, we love those people who are coming in. We love the immigrants who are coming in. They welcomed them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues in the ayah, He says, وَلَا يَجِدُونَ فِي صُدُورِهِمْ حَاجَةً مِمَّا أُوتُوا. And find no hesitation in their hearts in helping them. They were so willingly to help al-Muhajirun. Those people coming from a different place, don't know any of them, but they're coming as immigrants and as refugees, and they needed help. Without hesitation, they helped them. And the ayah continues, وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. In fact, they readily give them priority over themselves, even when they themselves need what they give away. وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ. This is what I want to highlight. Al-Ithar. That they gave them, Al-Ansar gave Al-Muhajirun anything that they needed. وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. Even though Al-Ansar needed these. They gave them homes. They had them share their own homes, even though Al-Ansar needed their own homes. They shared with them their jobs, even though they needed these jobs. They shared with them their food, even though they needed that food. That was not an act of just charity. Al-Ansar was not just giving away money that's extra. Al-Ansar was not just giving 2.5% of their income to them. They were giving away things that they themselves needed. But because they know that Al-Muhajirun went through difficulty, left all their wealth behind, left all their family behind, and they needed help, they were so willing to help them with whatever they need, even if that meant giving up my own needs, giving up my own welfare, because someone else's needs it. This is an act of ithar. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala finishes the ayah by saying, وَمَن يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Indeed, those who overcome their natural stinginess are the successful ones. مَن يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ. Look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows us human beings. This is a very difficult thing to do. And what I'm asking you, that character, that trait that I'm talking about today, I'm not saying this is something easy to achieve. This is not a natural thing. It's not natural for you to give up something to someone else, especially if that something is actually something you need. You know, you're sitting down and you're eating and you're hungry and you're about to eat and you see someone else who's hungry and you don't have any cash on you, you don't have any money, and that's it. This is the food that you're going to eat all day. And you give that food to someone else even though you need it. This is such a difficult thing to do. If you have a home and you see someone who needs help and you, instead of, having them pay rent, but because you know that they need help, you don't, hey brother, you can come and take it. Take half of my home. You know, my family was living in a 4-bedroom apartment. We're going to live in a 2-bedroom apartment. You take the other two bedrooms, where we'll separate it and we'll make do. It's going to affect our welfare. It's going to affect our lifestyle, but I'm willing to give it up to help you. This is such a difficult thing to do. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَن يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ. If you try really hard to overcome that natural stinginess that we have in our heart, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. These are the successful ones. And Ibn al-Qayyim talked about 3 levels of ithar. The first level, he says, this is the level when someone actually favors others over yourself without harming yourself. And this is like the example of, you're hungry, you give up, and you're about to eat your food, and you give up that food to someone else. yes, you're gonna go for the rest of the day hungry, but you're not really harming yourself. It's, it's not pleasant that you're gonna be hungry for the rest of the day. You might be walking in the middle of the winter, it's just coming up, it's gonna be very cold very soon, and you're wearing a nice jacket and you're warm, and you see someone else shivering in need of warmth and can't have it. And then as an act of ithar, you take off your jacket and you give it to that person. This is an act of ithar. But you're not harming yourself. Yes, you're gonna get cold, it's an annoyance, but you're not harming yourself. So this is the first level of ithar. That you help other people with something that you need, but they also need, so you favor them over yourself, but you know at the end of the day, it's not harming you. The second level of ithar, Ibn al-Qayyim says, is when you're favoring Allah's satisfaction over the satisfaction of others or over your own satisfaction, despite any turmoil or tribulations. Now, this is the kind of ithar that might actually harm you. This is the kind of ithar when you actually go and you join the military and fight to protect your own family. You might be harmed, but you need to have the intention now that this is not, I'm not doing this for my family. I'm doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then nothing matters. This is an act of ithar because you're doing it for rid Allah. You're doing it to satisfy Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the second level of ithar. An example of this is when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asking the Sahaba to donate their money for a cause. And Umar radiallahu anhu came and he gave most of his money. Again, money that he needed, wealth that he needed. He gave up most of his wealth. But he left some. So he left some for his family. When Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked him, well, what did you leave behind for your family? He told him, I left him that much money and that much wealth. And then Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu came and he gave up all his wealth. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, what did you leave back for your family? And his response was, I left them Allahu wa Rasulah. That's what I'm leaving them behind. They will have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger. This is now an absolute act of ithar. Now he's to the point where he's giving up all his wealth. But now with the intention that this is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for his messenger. So this is the second level of ithar. The third level, which is something that you can achieve with the first or the second, is really your intention. Is whatever act of ithar that you do, you attribute it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You don't go and ask for thanks afterwards. You do not ask for appreciation afterwards. You do not ask for anything in return afterwards. You're doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. We don't want your thank. We don't want anything from you. This is for me and with me and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and no one else. I'm not talking about people who go and do these acts of ithar and they have their videos and filming it and then posting it on social media. Look at how great I am. I'm helping the poor. Look at me. Now your intention is completely not in the right place. You're not doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're doing this for your own self-satisfaction. You're doing it so others say how great you are. And if that's the intention, then you've lost your money for no reason. You got no reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for it. So the intention should be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم توبوا إلى الله. الحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد. Again, the khutbah today is about this one khuluq. There's this one trait of a Muslim, which is al-ithar, altruism, or being selfless. That you're willing to do something and help others, even if that means that it might affect your own needs. You're favoring other people over yourself, even if it affects your own needs. And if you think about it, if this is something that is done within a community, or even better, worldwide, think about the outcome of something like this happening all the time. The first thing is that you will see an increase in solidarity amongst people in a community. You will see this community now acting as a whole body. Like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam once said, "مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم مثل الجسد إذا اشتكى منه عضو تداعى له سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى." He's talking about how the believers act as one community, that they should act the way they love one another, the way they have mercy to one another, the way they have kindness towards one another. This act is like this one body, a whole body. This entire community is acting as a whole body. If one person is harmed, it's the equivalent of one of your organs is harmed. Imagine you have an organ that's in pain. Your whole body is in pain. You don't go and just like, oh, it's just my kidney. That's okay. You're in pain the whole day, and all you think about is that organ that's in pain. Your whole body. You're not going to ignore it. And if the whole community acts as one, if one of us is harmed, all of us are harmed. If one of us is in pain, all of us are in pain. If one of us needs help, we cannot sleep until that person gets that help. This is how a Muslim community acts as one body. Kal jasad, just a whole body. No one goes sleep harmed because we will be harmed as well. We will do whatever we can to make that person whole, because I can't sleep. I can't sleep thinking about that person not being in pain. I can't do it. This is the result of having the ithar, because in order for you to do that, you're gonna have to give up your own time and your own wealth that you probably need, but you're gonna give it up to go and help that other person to make them whole. So this is the first outcome, is that the community will have more coherence. The second outcome is that community will have more economic independence. You no longer need to go out for help. You do not go and to seek other communities for help. Because if any one of us needs help, that community will help. I do not need to go somewhere else. I know that my own community will help me. Again, that thinking that I can't sleep because someone else in my community is harmed. And the third thing is that if you have that active ithar, and this is something that you do all the time, then any of the negative thoughts that you have will be gone. That jealousy that we might have towards one another will be gone. That hate and animosity that we might have towards one another will be gone. That feeling stingy and not wanting to help others, this will be gone. All of these negative traits will automatically be gone, because you're someone who's selfless. And the fourth one is that you will start to train yourself to really be patient. You're really training yourself, because by going through this, when you see someone going through hardship and you make yourself go through the same hardship because you're helping them, you're now training your own self if you ever face difficulties and hardships in the future. And you know, if you yourself face hardship and difficulties, you know, because you've created that community, that they will all come for your help. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. None of you believe until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. You have to love for your brother what you love for yourself. We're not talking about you just go and you give out your second-hand clothes that you don't want anymore. And you feel like good about yourself that, oh yeah, I donated my used clothes. Yeah, donated, but that's not what the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is talking about. We're talking about you buying the best clothes, the same clothes that you buy for yourself, and you give that clothes. We're talking about the best food that you eat yourself. This is the kind of food you serve people who need. We're talking about the finance and the wealth that you use, the homes, the kind of home style that you live in. This is what you want other people to live as. This is when you achieve this, then this is when you achieve Iman. Again, لا يؤمن أحدكم. You do not believe. You cannot achieve Iman. حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Until you start loving, until you love the things that you love for yourself, you also love it for your brothers to have. Now you have achieved Iman. Al-Qurtubi says about al-Ithar, ينشأ الإيثار عن قوة اليقين وتوكيد المحبة والصبر على المشقة. Al-Qurtubi says this act of ithar, of altruism, stems from strength in yaqeen, loving others, and patience at a time of hardship. Oh, jazakumullah khair. So we'll finish inshallah. So since we have 2 minutes, I'll wrap up inshallah. So again, the khutbah is about ithar, is about loving others, even if that will affect our own needs. So with this, اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم إنا نسألك رضاك والجنة ونعوذ بك من سخطك والنار. اللهم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك ويا مصرف القلوب صرف قلوبنا على طاعتك. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
استقيموا رحمكم الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Two announcements إن شاء الله. العصر okay. No. Assalamu alaikum. Please don't forget your masjid from your donation, and we are about to pray Asr, inshallah, Jama'ah. Because today, time I think is already come. Huh? Not bad, it's okay. I think it's around time. Inshallah, we're gonna make adhan and Salat al-Asr bi'idhnillah. Please stay and Sali Jama'ah, so we're gonna give the ajr for Salat Jama'ah Dhuhr and Asr, inshallah. Sorry? You can pray Sunnah when doing adhan, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, tomorrow night after Isha, we have a valuable lecture. We have Dr. Ma'an Liqda. He's visiting from Texas. We will be talking about Islamic Finances 101. He's going to cover a lot of subjects. So please attend after Isha tomorrow. And inshallah, on Sunday, from 1:30 to 3 o'clock, we have clothes and food drive for Syria. So if you have, you can bring your clothes, food, whatever, for Syria, inshallah, on Sunday. The truck will be here from 1:30 until 3 o'clock, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.
Allahu Akbar.